Hello and welcome back. We've got the 1977 price list again here. Now that was the year of the Queen's Silver Jubilee here in the UK. It was celebrated to quite a large degree, as I remember it as a child. I imagine it was celebrated in other places around the world as well. But Hornby decided to mark the occasion with a couple of sets. There was this freight set here, R684, Silver Jubilee Super Freight Set. Brush Type 4 loco, 8 wagons, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Oval of track with 2 sidings, tunnel, level crossing, station, and it was £31.95. They also had the Silver Jubilee Pullman passenger set here. It's featured an Albert Hall loco, 4 Pullman coaches, oval of track, level crossing, station, tunnel and signals, and that was catalogue number R.687. And that also carried a very high price of £31.95. So the Silver Jubilee Pullman set was just produced in that year, I think, along with the freight set. I think from what I read, there was 14,500 of these Silver Jubilee sets produced. I don't know whether it went on to stay in the catalogue or just sort of residual stock in years to come, perhaps. Quite an expensive set, and you can see there's a very large number of items here within the set. It must have been very exciting to get those. So we've got the 4 coaches, the Albert Hall, the level crossing, uncoupling ramp. We've got an oval of track, a battery controller, the station looks like a nice addition, and this lovely tunnel with plastic ends and a cardboard brickwork over the top. And there are many elements of the set there in this wonderful sort of layout picture. You can see there. R687 Silver Jubilee Pullman set. Lovely bit of typography there. That's page 13, so opposite that on page 12 there was the freight set. R684, a stunning number of wagons in there, isn't there? Just look at all the items there. I don't have this set, but I do have a reasonable example, albeit a bit battered on the box, of the Silver Jubilee Pullman set. So if we pop this catalogue down, we'll just have a swift look at the set box. So let's just excuse arms and we'll grab these. We'll just have a swift look around the edges of the box. As you can see, there's a lot of damage to the edges here, but it is a lovely looking box, isn't it? There again is the contents of the box. Quite impressive, I think. Before you'd even opened it, I think the anticipation would have been absolutely tremendous. It really does seem to have had a bit of a hard old life. At some point, I suppose, this cardboard really wasn't meant to last this number of years, I don't suppose. A little bit of sellotape on it there. And again, it has provided good protection for the contents, as we'll see quite shortly. And that cardboard, it just really is quite soft. I think you can see the varnished layer on the top there has begun to come away and peel away through storage, I suppose. And again, there is the contents, and Hornby's name again, electric train set. Looks to have been a price tag there stuck on it, but I think that's long gone, sadly. We'll just come around this corner as well and see some repair work with sellotape that's gone on over the years. And we'll just continue around this edge of the box. It really is a lovely script, isn't it? Along there in green and silver. And again, that corner is quite damaged, isn't it? Lots of lovely white polystyrene on the inside. So if we take off the lid, it's in 2 separate parts really. This sort of window frame here comes off to reveal another piece of printed card with the main picture on it. So if I just take that to one side, it really is quite fragile. So that outer part has really protected this quite well. You can see the effects of dust and so on here. And again, it does look like somebody's sort of eaten away, not something probably. So we'll take that away. It really is quite a lovely illustration, isn't it? We'll just have a swift look at that on the way off with it. And there we have the set itself. We can see the loco at the top there, the 4 coaches, the track. We have an uncoupling ramp here, and instructions, which I think is quite a nice thing. And we've got a bag of bits. I suppose it would have been packaged a little bit differently to that. They were all loose in the box when I got it. And there was a couple of pieces of the signal, and the uncoupling ramp were missing, and 1 station roof support. But I think a catalogue would have also been included, but this catalogue is my catalogue. It didn't come with a set. And I believe it would have slotted in here and been part of the box. Would have been such a sight to open that, wouldn't it? And get that on your birthday or Christmas Day, perhaps. Really a tremendous number of items there. We'll just have a swift look over the items while they're lying in the box. Now, we've seen an Albert Hall model quite recently, albeit a much older version of this, but this is one of the later ones in that waxy plastic, which was becoming quite popular in the mid to late 70s. And I think this is these new Pullman coaches, although I think they came along just a couple of years earlier than this, perhaps, although these ones had the advantage of having alternative names on them. I believe when they were first released, these coaches, they all had the name Lucille on them. So this would have come with alternative names on a sheet. And again, these are reproduction names which I've made. The names were missing. So the coaches are in reasonably nice condition. We've got some track here, uncoupling ramp. And then we do have a bag of bits here. Signals and station supports and ladders and things. The level crossing. And we've got the station waiting room there. The plastic ends for the tunnel and a power connecting clip. And then we've got the battery controller. Quite an interesting item. And then we've got some more track here. If I just remove the instruction sheet there. We've got the basis of the card tunnel there. And we've got the 3 platform pieces, and some more shorter straights there. Intriguingly, this looks like it was meant to have points in here, so I don't know whether this polystyrene inner was really made to serve several sets, so it could have been used for a number of different items, a number of different sets. If you have a look how the locomotive is held into the set box, this just looks like an insert tray from a boxed item, doesn't it? So I'm not going to try and lift that out, but it will, if pressed, come straight out of there. And so a different locomotive could have been inserted in there. If we just have a look at the instruction sheet there, we can see we've got the set name there, 687, and then the date, 12th of the 1st, 77. Again, a fairly general instruction sheet. We've seen these before, but this international service dealer network, I think, is quite interesting. I don't think we've had a look at one of these sheets before. So it's very similar to the service scheme booklet that we've seen in the past. A much more condensed version, I think, is what we could say. We've got the international dealer network here. So a whole list of names in what are very far away places to me, but they may mean more to some than others. We'll just have a look over these here. So names which are largely unfamiliar to me. Many of them though, aren't there? Many of them. So they've still got quite an extensive network of dealers even in the mid-70s. Many places. I wonder what the dealer network is now. I don't have any current contemporary Hornby items, so it would be very difficult for me to make a comparison, I'm afraid. I don't know whether they even still have such a thing as a dealer network listed like this. Let's just turn that over and have a look at some of the places in the UK there. Again, there's a lot of them in the 70s there, aren't there? I'm not entirely sure there'll be quite that many now. Just have a look further up there. I suppose we really should have a look at the inner page as well. I know I'm doing this all in the wrong order. let's just have a look down here. See if I can hold that still enough so you're able to have a look there. We're just going to have a look at the track, but just as I was removing these 8 sections of 605 first radius curve from the box, you could see at the bottom there, see if we can get some focus there. It's not playing, there we go. We've got R.687 and then a 4-figure number after the dash, 9200. So again, perhaps 9200 is something in relationship to the packaging for this set, but 687, there we go, we've got the focus again. 687 is the number for this set. So we'll just pop this handheld camera down and we'll have a look at these track sections. So we've got 8 of these first radius curves. I've got another one just over here. They're in a bit of a state. If you see the insert picture, you can see what sort of condition they're in. Let's have a look at the back of them there, see if we can get some focus on there and see if we can read what it says there. So we've got 605, Hornby, made in Austria. So I think all of the track in this set seems to be made in Austria, so that sort of gives it a certain time period, I think, unless of course the track has been replaced at some point. Definitely steel rails, so the magnesium on this locomotive is going to be quite effective. We'll just pop that down. So there's 8 of those first radius curves, which seems a bit odd, they're calling it a large oval, but maybe it's large because it's got these long straights down the side. So we've got a pair of these 601 double straights, again similar condition, and they've got the catalogue number on the back of the track there. Let's see if we can get that into focus. We can just read that there, and we'll pop that down. So there's 2 of those, and then we've got a pair of R600 standard straights there, or short straights, whatever word you want to call them. I think they're just called straights, aren't they? And again, if I can get that to read on the back, looking through the back of the camera there, we've got R600 Hornby, made in Austria again. So they've cleaned up reasonably nicely, but they've been lying in the box for years, and as you saw from that insert picture earlier, they are in fairly poor condition. You see the edge of the rail section there. So they've had perhaps quite a hard life. The third piece of paperwork in the set box is this train set operating instruction, which I think is quite a nice sheet to have. We've got the fitment of the uncoupling ramp and the power connecting clip. The power connecting clip is bright red at this stage. They first came along in red, and at some point they changed over to black, although I'm unsure of the date for that, so we'll just pop that down. I think that is quite nice to be able to see exactly where you would fit that to the rails. So we'll have a look at the other side, and we've got the instructions on how to set up this battery controller that we've got included in the set, and then how you would go about using a powered controller if you were lucky enough to have one. But let's just have a look at these instructions or the diagrams here for the battery controller. Now, there is some cabling in the box, but they're missing the connection clips, which would go into this printed or circuit board here. And you can see how the sprung clips on the top of the batteries would attach to the board, and how that would supply power then down to the power connecting clip there. So if we pop that down, and we'll just have a look at the power controller here and the cables which have come with it. So the connecting clips which would connect this to the controller have long gone. So maybe the person had a powered controller, and the pins which go into the power connecting clip are still present. We'll pop those down, and we'll have a look at the front face of this. Lots of information printed on here to make it look all very important. And we've got that handle which folds down, and we can select half or full in here, or clicking into place there. That's fairly positive. But let's open it up and have a look on the inside. So it's just sprung clipped together. I'll just pop that down, and you can see how you would fit these to the batteries if you have a quick look at the instructions alongside it. So there you go, you would just slide these into the sprung clips on the batteries, and then by rotating this you'll be selecting either half power. I think you would just have the power from one battery and then the power from two batteries, as simple as that. I don't think there's anything more sophisticated than that under there. And those cables with the connecting clips which are missing would have just slid onto these contacts here. Let's just have a look at the instructions again there for a moment. I think it is such a very basic thing. I suppose if I hold that around that way, look at the instructions and the board together. There we go, let's just simply slide on to those parts there. And there were plenty of other items in the set, as we've seen. We've got this basic station here with all of these items, although I'm not entirely sure why they included a bench, because it doesn't really fit on this platform. It would need an extra straight section, I think, but still nice to have the bench. So we've got the station included in the set, and then we have this basic level crossing with opening gates. So it's quite a nice thing to have as well, isn't it? See there, that's how a bench would sit. It takes up most of a platform section, doesn't it? So we'll just flip on over here, and then we've got this pair of junction signals here as well. Let's just lift that up a little closer to the camera so you can have a look. So that's the majority of the things in the bag of bits, so it all goes to make a much more exciting set. And I almost forgot the uncoupling wrap, a really important part of any train set. I think that fact was established very early on by trying Hornby or trying railways. They seem to have been included in almost every set as far as I can see over the years. They had tremendous play value. And now we've got R.759, the Albert Hall. Although she does show up glossy in the catalogue in '77, she definitely shows up in a very matte waxy plastic here in the train set, which I believe a number of models had this sort of waxy effect at this period in time. Now we've seen the Albert Hall quite recently, and earlier models they came along firstly in '66, I think, with BR on the tender instead of Great Western. So let's just have a swift look at the tender. Again, fairly nice condition, just like the main part of the model. And we do have the chuff sound in there, which is quite nice to have. So I think if you want to see this model or the Albert Hall in more detail, have a look at the earlier video. I think to all intents and purposes, apart from the plating on the wheels, we're talking about pretty much the same model, though this one has a grey plastic drive gear there. Magnesian, and this one has the metal plated front bogie wheels there. Excuse me, struggling with the speech again. There is a little bit of marking on the top of this model here where it's either been run into something or under something, so it's been blacked back in there. And as we've seen, there are 4 of these gorgeous Pullman coaches in the set. And these came along in 1975, I think, but they were all called Lucille for the first 2 years. But in 77, as it says here, they're issued with alternative names. So when I got the set, there were no names on them. So these are some reproductions that I've acquired. But they are fairly gorgeous things, although when you do look closely, the lining isn't quite as neat and tidy as you think it might be. Just have a look along there. Lovely detail through the windows there. You've got those table lamps, seating area, plenty of detail to be had. I love these steps down here. So you've got that step detail just in there. Handrails, lovely windows, I think. So they've really gone to town on these. So these replaced the earlier Pullman coaches, which had been available since the late 50s. Very popular models, I think, globally. They've sold many of them. Lovely silver roofs here. I think at some stage these roofs went to white. So I think they came along firstly 75, and then you got the alternative names in 77. And I think I went to an all-over paint finish in 1980, changing the model number perhaps to R223. 1980, a brake became available, R233. I think the number was till 81, and I think there were a number of variations with perhaps white rimmed wheels. It seems to become quite complicated at that point, and also possibly the change to white roofs. So lovely things. I think these have gone on to have quite a long life in the catalogue, with subtle changes over the years. So that underframe detail's fairly nice as well. I'd say that they are very smooth running with these silver seal type wheels at this stage.